We're out exploring a little bit today, so we decided to take some time to answer some of the questions that have been piling up. And the first one is, have we named our truck or our RV? Have we given it names? And well, not specifically, not like Old Bess or any of those kinds of things. We just...
Yeah, we since we live full-time in our RV, we just call it home.
Yeah.
Or the house, and the truck is just the truck.
The truck, yeah, we just refer to it as the truck. I guess it's pretty much how we've always done it in life. We just say, let's go home, or let's get in the truck.
Any place we live is home, and anything we drive is the truck or the car. So a lot of people do, you know, pick out cute names for their RVs or their vehicles or whatever, and that's fine if
it's
that's
really nice
something
that
that's fun for you, but it's just something that never really occurred to us.
Yeah, we're just very comfortable calling it home or the truck, and I don't anticipate changing. I don't know, maybe if something happened continuously we might think of a bad name or something, but
hopefully that won't happen.
Yeah, hopefully not.
Yeah, I think home is fine.
Yeah.
We've been asked if we put our slides out when we're stopping just for an overnight in a rest area or a casino or some type of just overnight parking, and the answer is probably no. We usually would not do that.
Yeah, because we figure we want the least amount of things to have to do in the morning when we're taking off. And we usually anticipate the things that we need that might be in the way of slides, like things in cabinets or something like that. We would just already have those things out. And typically we're just doing like overnights to get to a destination where we'll stay for a little bit longer, and we're just going to get those things out soon anyway. And I don't think we've ever run into a problem like you know, we have to get something out or something like that. But we have put the bedroom out, I think, at a couple times for overnight things, or if we for whatever reason stop for full hookups, we would put everything out for one night. We've done that before, but typically it's really not a problem. When we pull into a rest area, we rarely even go into the fifth wheel. When we are at a rest area, we just use the facilities there. Just depends on what they look like. And let's see, as far as truck stops, we have stayed in truck stops, and I don't think we've ever put the slides out at all for that. And it wouldn't be an inconvenience as long as it's something that they allow at the place. It wouldn't be hard to just push a button and put them out. And incidentally, we can put a link in the description here to a video that at the end we showed what it looks like with our slides in.
Yeah. So yeah, we can get to the bathroom, we can get to the bed, and that's pretty much all we need. That's one of the reasons that we like to overnight at casino parking lots when we can, because they always will have some type of restaurant or, you know, deli or something to eat, so that we don't feel like we have to put the slides out and get, you know, a bunch of things out and try to make a meal. We'll just go in and grab something and come back and just go to sleep, get up, take off the next day.
Or sometimes we've already have those things packed out, like they're in a cooler or something, and we can access the refrigerator, so it's not like we can't get to those things. So a question that comes up a lot is, what do we consider boondocking, or what is meant by the term boondocking? Well, I can give you my opinion. Our opinion, the way we see it, is that boondocking is a word that comes from like being out in the boondocks, out in the middle of nowhere type of thing. So we consider boondocking to be you know, camping or living or being out in the middle of nowhere, out in the wilderness, out in the boondocks. And so I would classify things like staying in a store parking lot or in a town somewhere off the side of the road, or any of those types of things, as dry camping if there's no services. So to me, dry camping would refer to whether or not there are services, hookups. And then boondocking would not refer to those services or hookups necessarily, in my opinion. It would refer to your location. So boondocking would be about location, and dry camping would be about hookups. That's as best as I can tell, unless somebody can. I mean, I know that boondocking, what it has come to mean, and that's perfectly fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that as far as I'm concerned. I really don't care. But if you were to look up the etymology or the history of the word, I'm sure it would have something to do with being out in the middle of nowhere. And so that's how I've just basically come to use the term.
Yeah, if you're out in the middle of nowhere, chances are there's not going to be any hookups. So most likely if you're boondocking, you're not going to have any hookups. And that's probably why people just started referring to the term boondocking as any time when you're stopped without overnighting without hookups. So, but to us, boondocks refers to being out in the boondocks, I guess.
Yeah, and I guess I would say for me it really doesn't. I mean, there could be services there. There could be hookups out in the middle of nowhere if somebody just happened to have them set up that way. But dry camping is what I'll use that term if I'm in a parking lot somewhere and I have no hookups. I basically just say I'm dry camping. But anyway, to each their own. It definitely doesn't matter whatever way you want to understand those terms or use those terms. I think the main point is understanding what people mean, and we pretty much, when we hear boondocking, we think people mostly mean that they don't have hookups or services.
People who have watched my video on my weight loss and my fitness tracker have asked how I stay on my fitness goals and my walking while we're traveling. And to me, when we're traveling, that's probably one of the funnest times to get my steps and to get walking, because whenever you're in a new place, even if it's just for an overnight, the first thing we want to do is go out and explore. And that's one of the reasons that we try not to drive too far in a day, because we'd like to get there when there's some daylight so we can see what's around. We'll explore the campground or the RV park or wherever we're at, maybe check out the convenience store down the road or whatever just happens to be in the area. We'll just go for a walk as soon as we get things set up. So that's, to me, kind of almost better to be traveling, because you have new places to see and to walk to.
Yeah, and I think that occupying your mind like that takes the stress off of the walking if people are uncomfortable doing that and you're just getting started. You know, I've known people that don't want to walk even as much as a city block or just a quarter mile or whatever, but you can take those people into a mall or something, a shopping place, and they'll put some miles on and not even know it. So it's definitely interesting to see how much you will do when your mind's distracted with exploring.
Right.
And so we love doing that quite a bit, and we do that all the time. Everywhere we go, we explore, and you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be fast walking or vigorous or any of those types of things. It's just moving, just keeping ourselves moving. Now, when the weather has been very bad, we've had times when it's been, we'd leave even the desert Southwest and start heading up into the mountains, and while it might have been, you know, 70 degrees, then we drop in the 20s Fahrenheit, and it gets really cold, and maybe you know, if we're comfortably walking, it's not always you know, fun to walk when it's blowing cold rain and, you know, just right at about the freezing point. So we've actually just found a mall or some type of indoor shopping place, and we went to certain stores and walked every single aisle, you know, in those stores, just to make sure Susan would get the steps in that she wanted to do for the day. And now that we're both wearing them, we're both trying to get our steps every day, and I've got to say, it really gives us some accountability and something that tells us, you know what, get moving.
Yeah.
And I like it. I didn't think that I would, but it is that extra thing that tells me when I might say, oh, it's just too hot out, or it's too cold out, or it's this or that, and I might not do it. Well, this you know, holds me accountable to it, so we find a way. So we always find a way.
It makes it a priority. We always make sure, where are we going to walk today? What are we, you know, what are we going to do to get our step goals in for the day? So,
exploring the steps.
Yep.
We've received a few questions about what type generator or size generator do we recommend. What we have purchased is two 2,000 watt Yamaha engine generators, and then we got a parallel cable so that we could put these together and essentially get nearly 4,000 watts that way, and that'll suffice for running one of our air conditioners and having pretty much anything on that we would desire. Now, a lot of people use Honda, Yamaha, those types. I'll put some links in the description to some recommendations, you know, so that you can do some comparing and just try to figure out what would work for you. I probably wouldn't go any less than a 2,000 watt, and I kind of like the idea of having them separate like that so that I could just pull out one when I needed it and have a little less noise. And of course you want the quietest, you don't want an industrial generator, you want the most quiet generator that you can possibly get your hands on.
Yeah, and it's going to vary depending on how much and how you're going to use it. Are you going to be somewhere where you're going to need to run your air conditioner and you need to have, you know, 2 generators, or are you just, you know, considering using it from time to time on an overnight while traveling, which is pretty much what we do. We don't go out boondocking a lot where we're going to be using it for several days at a time. But if we were, you know, if you're going to be doing something like that, then that's definitely going to affect the size and number of generators that you're going to want.
Yeah, I think we've used our generator twice, and it's, you know, we're planning some more boondocking in the near future, and for us it's probably going to be more about solar. But you know, these things vary on where you're at. You know, if you're in a very cloudy, rainy environment, you know, maybe the solar's not going to be the thing at the time. You know, so it's just going to depend a lot on your needs, and like Susan said, how much power, you know, are you planning on using. You know, you might have a dog that you're going to have to leave in your RV and have to have an air conditioner on or something like that. Think about those types of things. But you know, the least that you can get by with, the better, in our opinion. So, well, the questions have been piling up, and that was just a few answers to some of them. We'll try to get to the others in upcoming question and answer videos. And if you have a question that you would like answered, feel free to post it in the comment section of this video.
And don't forget to share and subscribe.
Thanks for watching.